Good day, I'm Karen Wilson, and this is Table Talk. Today's guest is Holly Holder with the Horseplay Organization, and you're located in Coffee County, but you service a lot of areas. So I guess, Holly, welcome to the show. I'll start with that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good for you. I'm glad you reached out to us because I did not know we have a program similar to this in Warren County, but I didn't realize that Coffee County and those counties around there had a program like that as well. So tell us about horseplay, what that is, and the therapy side of it.
Oh, I'd love to. Horseplay is a therapeutic riding center that serves children with disabilities. And so we work through goals that our parents have for their children for personal improvement. We offer 3 programs. We have therapeutic riding, hippotherapy, and horsemanship.
Okay.
And so a little bit about each program. Children in our therapeutic riding program, they may work on fine motor skills, self-confidence, better balance, physical improvements. They may work through strengthening their muscles, and they do that through learning riding skills. Our next group, which is hippotherapy, they may work on the same skills, but they are using the horse as a therapy, as a tool in therapy.
Okay.
And so they use the movement of the horse to promote those same goals.
Right, that may help their balance
yes.
or anything like that, I guess, that they need.
That's right. And to speak as well, so for speech therapy. And then in our unmounted program, these children may be working through emotional goals. And so they work on the ground with a mentor and a horse. And they're working through life skills.
Okay.
They're working on regulating emotions and learning barn work and just learning how to do things at home.
Like you've got a task and this is our chore for the day.
That's
And
right.
how to follow through with that without,
Yes.
I guess, getting frustrated. Having a tantrum may not be the right word, but a meltdown or just all kinds of things like that tend to be kind of common in that group. Well, okay, so you're located in Tullahoma. It services, as I said, Coffee, Franklin, Shelbyville, and Moore counties. Tell us about how the program began.
Well, it started out with, long before my time, but it started out with a group of people who volunteered at a similar program. And so they felt that Coffee County and surrounding counties would benefit from that. They started out with 4 borrowed horses, and they would go from farm to farm and just borrow people's farms. And I think around 2008, they were able to buy their own property. So we now have 17 acres. We build upon it every year. We've got a riding arena where we can have lessons indoors. And now we have 8 horses that we lease. We do a free care lease. And serve about 54 children.
Wow, that's a lot of kids. I mean, and like I said, you have them coming in from surrounding counties
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well. And the covered arena, how nice is that? Because that allows you to do things basically year-round.
Yes.
And then your program, too, it helps parents, I think, by having things going on after school. What does that look like?
Well, we have our riding lessons usually after school, and so it gives the parents a chance to talk with other parents and maybe work through issues that they could help one another with. We also offer summer camps for usually as a fundraiser for our program, so other children can benefit as well.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a great even a resource, as you said, for parents so they can get together and talk and discuss different things that each of them are going through and stuff with their kids. I noticed on social media, I think it was on your Facebook page, that you all are having a helmet drive, helmets for the holidays. What is that?
Well, our children have to have a riding helmet in order to get to ride. And so our goal right now is to provide enough helmets that each child will not have to share a helmet in one day.
Yeah.
It'll just give us a chance to sanitize in between days, just to ensure that there's no bugs or germs or anything like that. And it ensures that all of our helmets are in good working order. Sometimes we have to replace them. They get old and wear out.
Yeah.
And we just want to be sure that we have enough for everyone.
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's best for kids not to share hats and helmets and all. As a parent, I know what you're saying here. And it looks like a riding helmet is around $70, but and that can be expensive for a program. So people can sponsor those. Even companies could put their logo on the side of a helmet if they wanted to sponsor so many. And then it looks like even you can put names. So you could put it like in memory or in, anything like that you would want to have.
Oh, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So if they wanted to contribute to the program, how do they do that?
Well, they can always reach out to us. We have a phone number on our Facebook page and email. But you can also find us through Messenger, Facebook.
Okay. Social media is a great thing. Good way to contact people. And I don't want to overlook, I guess, a special part of the program, which that's the horses. We don't want to take those for granted. So tell us about your horses.
Well, they are truly the heart of our program. Without them, there would not be a horseplay. These horses by nature are just, they're prey animals. They're claustrophobic. But what they do, it just takes a special horse to work in our program. And we have got a group of really great horses right now who see through to these children and meet them right where they are and seem to know exactly what they need. And so their nature, it seems like they just step away from what they're naturally designed to be like, and they just take on a different role in supporting these children.
And you said these are leased horses, so the owners are not giving the horse to you, but they're allowing you all to use those, and in turn you all take care of them and board them.
Yes, so we provide the most optimal care that we possibly can for these horses, because if the horses feel good, then our children are going to feel good. And so in a free lease, we promise to take care of their dental work, their hooves, their feed, their exercise program, in exchange for us to get to use them. And then when the horse tells us they are ready to retire, then they'll go back home to their families.
Yeah. So as you said, you all kind of have to have a special horse. Not every horse is cut out for this. They kind of have to be geared towards probably not a high-tempered horse, or it's been worked with, I guess, over the years.
Yes, we do take horses on a trial agreement first, just to make sure they're happy in our program. And it does take a special horse to have the patience and the temperament, as you said. We had one special guy, they're all special to me, but one in particular I'd like to share a little story about a little girl who came to us a few years ago. She has autism, and she started out very young, babbling like all children do, but at some point lost her speech and was nonverbal. And so she started out in our program, and she really didn't interact with many of us at first, but it wasn't a couple of weeks that she started talking again, and she started saying walk on, and then she would say peck, and
that was his name.
That was his name, yes. Oh, yes, she'd talk about him at home. And so her mother testifies that it was because of this horse that he brought her back to them.
Wow.
And so he's very, very special.
Yeah, because when you've got a child like that, I think at times when they go into that, they're zoned out. The parent can't connect with them very well, others can't. So that's amazing that the horse was able to bring her out of that, where she could talk with her parent, not as you and I talk, but in other ways and stuff, reconnect with with their parents again.
And she did. She speaks in complete sentences now, and she's a joy. She encourages other children. There'll be some children who's afraid to mount up, and she'll say, "You can do this. You've got this."
So she's really come a long way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you said you've got 54 kids that participate.
Yes.
I'm sure there's many stories.
Oh, I've got
like
so many I
this.
could tell.
Just a great way. And, for years we wouldn't have thought about putting a large animal like that with a special child, but it's amazing what all they learn from the horse.
Well, I think the horses know. They just see differently than we do, and they've just pulled that out of them.
Mm-hmm. So, as any, nonprofit, you all are a 501c3, which means, you're there to give back. How do people contribute to horseplay, and how do you all spend your money? I guess on horse upkeep, probably.
Well, quite a bit of it goes there. We do have many different sponsorships that you can do. We have because all of our children ride for free. So it's a free service for all of our communities. But in order to offer it as a free service, we have to sponsor our children. So a sponsorship would be $250 per child, and that would go for the whole 8 weeks that they get to ride. And then, of course, there's horse sponsorships. We have a feed a horse and a vet a horse, and those are $1,000 each. And we have stall sponsorships as well.
Okay.
But any other donation that is given to us goes towards the maintenance and upkeep of the farm and improving it year after year.
Yeah. So you said it's kind of an 8-week program to children, sign up for 8 weeks, and then if they need more therapy, they participate for a second, or how does that work?
Well, they get to come back yearly.
Okay.
And we would love to increase the weeks that they get per child. But of course, that means we need more volunteers and maybe a few more instructors as well.
Right. Let's talk about your instructors. I mean, they're, of course, specially trained to do this job. You don't just throw somebody out there to do that.
That's right. We have to go through a certification process, and we are a PATH center, which means we follow specific standards.
And that PATH is like a therapeutic kind of certification that you all have. Okay. So your volunteers kind of go through a little program on how to work with the kids, how to work with the horses, and all of that. You said you started out as a volunteer.
I did, yes. We have volunteer trainings, and we always have an initial new orientation. But we try to improve upon our trainings throughout the year. So I like for kids and parents and volunteers to come out and just get to work with the horses and feel more confident with them, learn more about disabilities and how we can help the children with disabilities. So it's an ongoing thing.
I guess as part of the program, even teaching the kids about caring for the horse and putting a bridle in and things like that, just because I guess they can cross that over into self-care for themselves and self-care of others as well.
Very much so. There are so many different ways that it connects the children. It's not just riding the horses. It connects with so many different levels of life skills and empathy and recreation and just being out in nature.
Right, responsibility. This is something that all kids need, but, we'll just send all kids to your program. That would be nice. So if you can't give monetarily, you can always sign up to be a volunteer.
We are desperately in need of volunteers to pull off the amount of work we do. There's always barn chores. There's always something going on. We do offer birthday parties and like I mentioned, camps. And so we need volunteers to help with that. But if we don't have volunteers to help lead horses or sidewalk with them, with a rider, then the child may not get to ride.
Yeah,
so
that would be sad.
Yes, and we may have up to 4 children per lesson, so that might mean we need 12 volunteers per lesson at times.
So you talked about the birthday parties and things. I'll touch on that because that's a fundraiser for you all, and anybody can participate in booking, I guess, a birthday with you all.
Yes, that is true. That money goes towards helping sponsor our children or the farm, and they unfortunately don't get to ride. But we do offer a way for them to get to lead, they get to groom, they get to watch round pen demonstration on how we work with horses on the ground, and they learn about tack and equipment.
Okay, that's fun. It's good to keep kids entertained during those birthday parties.
Yes.
So that's a great
Yes.
way to do it. You're giving your kid a fun birthday party, but you're also giving back in a way as well.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Well, Holly, this has been very enlightening. There's so much more to programs like this than what we realize. And as you said, volunteers and money is what it takes to make things like this happen. I will also invite our audience to, I guess, follow you all on social media. You're on Facebook, is that
Yes.
right?
We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. It's Horseplay for Facebook and horse.play.inc for Instagram. And we have lots of volunteer trainings coming up in January.
Okay.
So if they'll just check out our page and maybe think about volunteering with us,
Yeah.
you won't regret it.
Because your facility is in Tullahoma,
Yes.
but as I said, you service many counties, and that's a short drive. You can go to Tullahoma for a volunteer. I will ask this really quick. How many hours per week are you looking at? Some people think, well, I'm too busy for that.
Well, we kind of leave it up to our volunteers. If they're wanting to do more of the farm side, the barn chores, the maintenance, that's up to whatever they would like to give. If they want to help with sessions, we do ask that when they sign up for a session, that they're signing up for at least 1 hour for those 8 weeks.
Okay.
So they could get, if they wanted to stay for both. Generally, we have 2 classes per night that we have sessions, which we don't have them every day of the week.
Right.
But all of that will be posted on our Facebook pages when we have upcoming classes.
And that part's just an 8-week commitment,
Yes,
right?
it's just an 8-week commitment for 1 hour. We like to try to be consistent, so it helps our children and it also helps the horses to have the same leader, the same sidewalkers, the same team. And it gives the children a chance to connect with their sidewalkers as well. We've had some who maybe their sidewalker wasn't able to come that day, and that child would ask where their helper was.
And that's the person that stands with them near the saddle, I
Yes.
guess, to make sure they're balanced and they're not going to fall off. And then
Exactly.
you've got a leader, I guess. I'm assuming they lead the horse around the arena. And then there was 3 different types of volunteers, I think. The leader, the sidewalker.
And then we have people who do barn chores and
Okay.
just help with maintaining the place.
Yeah, I could probably do
Yeah.
that. We could all shovel a little hay and clean a stall,
there-
surely.
Oh, yes. And we do have work days from time to time that if you don't want to donate your time throughout the year, you can just come when we have days available for that.
Yeah, okay.
But there's lots to do. We have lots to do there.
Well, thank you, Holly. We appreciate you giving of yourself to the program and helping all these wonderful kids in our counties that need this help.
Oh, it's truly my pleasure. It's a blessing to me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the show. I'm sure you did. Come back again next week for more Table Talk.